Hi there. Today we are going to be solving the quadratic formula. This is day 2 of what we did yesterday. So you can see here on the top, this is my quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Okay. It says here, ask yourself, is the equation equal to 0? If not, how can we get it to equal 0? Same method as we've been doing in the factoring section. So what we did first, if it was not equal to 0, we subtracted that lonely side over to the other so we can have one side equal 0. So I have 2x squared, then minus 7x minus 5. I want it in standard form because I have, like my ax squared plus bx plus c underneath. So let me just write this out here. A equals 2, b right here is equals negative 7, c is equal to negative 5. I recommend doing that to start off with because then it's easier to plug into your formula. Okay, so to plug in, I'm using, let me scroll up here a minute, this formula each time. So x equals the opposite of b. So opposite of negative 7 here is a positive 7 plus or minus the square root. Now I'm up here, b squared. I need a parenthesis around that number always. Then minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 5. People say plug and chug. That's what I'm doing here. I'm plugging some numbers into this formula, and then I'm going to simplify it. And then over 2 times a, so 2 times 2. Okay. I'm not going to do this problem over here right now, so we can use all this space. Okay, so let me kind of move my work up here. All right, so I have 7 plus or minus square root. Now, I am typing this part here into my calculator to find out what my number is for this radical, this next step. Okay, so you type it in, make sure you have your parentheses. I don't need the square root. I'm just typing in like 7, negative 7 squared. Let me underline it, or actually I'll highlight this part. Just this part I'm typing into my calculator. When you type that in, you should get, let's see, 89 as your answer. So 7 plus or minus, the square root of 89. There we go. All over 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, now we need to check. Can I break down this square root of 89? So over here, I do my factor tree. Can I divide by 2? Nope. 3? Nope. 4? The only factors are 1 and 89, so I can't break this down. So this is actually my final answer. So my exact answer is 7 plus or minus square root of 89 all over 4. Now, to get your decimal, you have to type that in your calculator. I recommend doing this part first. I would do 7 plus or minus square root of 89. Then press enter. Then divide by 4 and then press enter. That's how I recommend typing it in. It's easier. You don't lose track of things. Okay, so that one didn't break down, so that was pretty easy. Now, let's try a next one where I am breaking it down and it might simplify even more. Okay, so number 3 here, is it equal to 0? Nope, but we will just move that over first, so it is. So I have 4x squared minus 6x minus 14 is equal to 0. All right, let me write up a top here. So a equals 4, b equals negative 6, and c equals negative 14. Don't lose those negative signs. All right, I'm plugging in my formula. The opposite of b, so the opposite of negative 6 is positive 6, plus or minus square root of b, so negative 6 squared, minus 4, times a, which is 4, times c, which is negative 14, all over 2 times a, which is 4. Okay, so now I need to type this part in my calculator with the parentheses. Okay, so once you type that in, you should get 260. All right, and then I still have my 6 plus or minus, and 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, now I need to see, can I break down 260? Again, I won't do this problem here, so we have more room to work. 260, break that down. All right, let's do, say, 10 times 26, 2 times 5, 3 times 13. Oh, what am I doing? 2 times 13. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so I have one pair of 2's that I can take out. So this decimal, or this radical simplified, is 2, and then root 5 times 13. Those are my leftover numbers here that don't have a buddy to help them escape. So I'm left with 2, and then 5 times 13 is what? 89. Okay, so then I have 6 plus or minus. I'm rewriting what I just did. So 2 root 89 all over 8. All right, this is what we call the triangle of power. So these three numbers here make a triangle. If I can divide them all by the same number, I'm going to do that, and that's my last step for simplifying. So in this case, I can divide them all by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, plus or minus. 2 divided by 2 is 1. The root 89 stays the same. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now, if you look at that triangle again, those are all reduced as much as you can between the three numbers. Okay, so that's my final answer here. Let me write that. So I have 3 plus or minus 1 square root of 89 all over 4. Again, when you're a calculator, you're going to type it in. You can just type in, this part first, press enter, then divide by 4 to get your decimals. So you should get 2.7 and negative 5.1. If you do not know how to get those decimals, make sure you're speaking up in class and asking for help, or from a friend who knows how to do it. Okay, let's do number 5 on the back side. Okay, so here it's already all equal to 0, so that's kind of nice. So I have A is equal to 5, B is equal to 6, C is equal to negative 6. All right, so my formula, opposite of B. So opposite of positive 6 is negative 6 plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4 times my A, which is 5, times my C, which is negative 6, all over 2 times my A. All right, again, you'll type that part into your calculator, part in your radical sign. Okay, so I have negative 6 plus or minus, so 6 squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 6. Let's see, you should get, 156 over 10. All right, again, we'll cross this one out. Can I reduce 156? Let's see, 4 and 39, I think. 2 and 2. Okay, so I have a pair of 2's that 1, 2 comes out. The 39 stays in. So now I'm going to replace this with this part. So I have negative 6 plus or minus 2 root 39 all over 10. Look at your triangle. Do I have a triangle of power? Yeah, I can divide them all by 2, right? So I'm left with negative 3 plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is just 1. You can write the 1 or you can leave the 1. It doesn't matter. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so that is my simplified exact answer. Then I would type that into my calculator to get my decimal approximation. So I would get 0.65 and negative 9.2. Okie doke. All right, last one I'm going to show you real quick is number 8. So it's already equal to 0, so that's nice. So I have A equals 4, B equals 6, C equals 5. Okay, so when I plug in opposite of B, so negative 6 plus or minus square root of 6 squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times 4. Okay, plug that part into your calculator. Oops, sorry. Okay, so once you plug in your calculator, so 6 squared minus 4 times 5, make sure you can do that. You're going to get negative 44. Okay, so when I plug like negative, when I do one of these, so I start with, say, the plus sign. So negative 6 plus square root of 44, or negative, sorry, negative. And then enter. What does your calculator say? It should say domain error or something like that. And you're like, oh man, why is that? Because of the negative sign. We cannot have a negative sign inside the radical or inside the square root. So when this happens, you're like, oh, okay, no real solutions. You can just write it once for both lines. That's fine. Okay, so just a reminder, this section, you have to know how to type it in your calculator. So those of you who are still struggling with that, you have to ask because we cannot help you on the quiz with those kind of things. Okay, so this part here, I know it's tricky. Please ask for help. Okay, nice job today.